Wednesday, everybody, and another edition of Red Sox Now, presented by Fan Arch, right here on YouTube. I'm your host, Mike Antonellis, locked and loaded with a coffee. Got to get that caffeine in. Hope you've got your caffeine in on this Wednesday as we're halfway through the week. The Red Sox continue to stay hot. We'll talk about the game last night against the Rockies. In our cover story, Brian Beao was the man with his first career complete game. But before, you know the drill, we go any further. We need you to subscribe. You are subscribing, though. Got my baseball isn't boring. Rob Bradford gave this, Rob gives me a lot of stuff. I got to wear it. I got to represent him. Maybe we'll tweet at him today, and maybe one of you will get a baseball isn't boring t-shirt. Rob is very friendly. He loves giving out those stickers. If you don't know Rob, one of the beat writers for the Red Sox. But the subscriptions are going up, up, and up. Thanks to all of you. I can't thank you enough. 58 comments yesterday. 57 were mine. Just kidding. But we'll get to the comments. But thank you so much. Please share it. And like I said, we'll do bigger and badder things. I'm one of the voices of the Worcester Red Sox. They're on the road right now. They beat Rochester. I can tell you this from working in the minor leagues for 30 years. Those players are all on the gossip pages. Everyone's going to the ballpark near the trade deadline is the weirdest thing. Everybody's looking out. Guys get pulled out of games. Sometimes it's just precautionary. A team is interested in someone. I've seen a guy get called out of a game and never get traded. So I'll keep you up to date on that as much as I can and hope to get back to Polo Park. That will be next week when they're home. I'll be there for 2 games. And next week I'll let you know my schedule if you want to tune in and watch, critique. But let's get to our cover story. Brian Beao was terrific. I mean, he was barely throwing any pitches. I get it's the Rockies. I get it. But listen, I can tell when people listen to sports radio because what I've been doing now is I've been listening to sports radio more, and I will get a lot of comments and messages, and it's exactly what sports radio people say. You have to understand, like in sports radio, they're in a ratings business. They say things to get phone calls. They say things on purpose. I don't do that. I speak the truth. This is me, all right? You hear about who they're playing. Last year, the Red Sox split the season series with the White Sox. They lost 2 of 3 to Colorado. They're beating these teams, which they should, yes. But not every good team wins every single game against every bad team. That's not happening. But they're destroying these teams. So that's good, right? I think the way the Red Sox are playing right now, they could beat some good teams. I still think they need to work on the defense, the base running, and starting pitching. That's pretty much everyone. Even the Yankees are going through that. The Yankees are going through bullpen issues. But I thought the way Beao pitched last night, he's been more aggressive. He looks different. He didn't throw a lot of pitches. He gave up that 2-run home run to Goodman, who's a really good catcher, by the way. Man, is he undertalked. Goodman, 17 home runs, 280 average. That is a really good player. But I just like his pace. He's not... Before, he was throwing so many pitches wide of the zone, and you could tell they've scratched that. They've scratched a lot of some of the Andrew Bailey philosophies and let guys be themselves because you got to be able to throw your fastball and your stuff. Beo's stuff is his heavy sinker and changeup. And I was really impressed with how he attacked. And yeah, that lineup's not good, but you should be doing that, but they haven't been doing that. But his sinker topped out at 96. He threw it a ton, and he threw his changeup a lot. He basically threw 3 pitchers. Fastball, sinker, same family. The changeup and sweeper. That was it. No sliders. And I really liked how he looked. I thought it was, a step forward for him. Now, regardless of what we think of the Red Sox right now, and I know a lot of you watching, guys and gals, you don't follow all of major. We don't watch every team. I follow a lot as much as I can. But if you try to take a step back, you are one of 7 teams over 500 in the American League. I mean, that's not many. And you are now 1 game behind Seattle in the wild card. So regardless of all the stuff that's gone on, I don't care who you've played lately. You are still 3 over 500, which maybe last month no one saw coming with 5 to go. What if you win all 5? What if you win 4 and you go into the break 52 and 45? I don't think anyone would have expected that. I mean, you're only 4 games in the loss column behind the Yankees, considering everything that's gone on. Not bad. You know, I'll take it. I wanted to I'm just going to go off the rails a second. I am so enamored with Houston. Think about what they've done. They have Jeremy Pena on the injured list. They have Yordan Alvarez hurt. They got rid of Tucker. They didn't sign Bregman. They're 18 over. It's remarkable because they have pitching too. That's, they've always had pitching. Hunter Brown is unbelievable. Might be a Cy Young. But I cannot believe their record with that many players that they've lost. And they just continue to do it. But, again, let's just put a bow on that. Good stuff by Brian Beao. And these 3 great nights. I mean, I know Romy's not an all-star. We know that. But for his role, and he's now, I think, 3rd or 4th in Major League Baseball in average against lefties. He had 3 more hits last night, another triple. He's hitting .338 as a part-time player. But against the lefties, 3 more hits. Ref Snyder had a hit and walked. But Trevor Story, I mean, what more can we say about a guy that's completely changed his season? Yeah, I think it's fair for people to criticize him, but what Lou Maloney said makes a lot of sense. The guy missed 3 seasons, essentially. And it's really hard in the big leagues. He got off to a pretty good start. At 278 April. But really struggled in May where he was 158, and it didn't look good. He was missing fastballs. They were going right at him with fastballs. But the more at bats, he's gotten better. And since, let's see, I love this stats portal I have. I can do these things for you quickly. Since June 1st, he is hitting .315 with 8 homers and 34 RBIs. Just a remarkable turnaround. Plus, like I've said, the defense. You don't notice bad defense until you lose good defense. I know that sounds weird, but trust me on this. You get spoiled with the guys in the outfield. And then all of a sudden, when you don't have a guy out there that's good, you'll notice it. Remember the Kike Hernandez experience at short? Kike, he could hit. Horrible, horrible defensive player. And he even admitted it. That's not a position he wanted to play full time. But Story makes every single play. Jarren Duran, who batted low in the lineup last night with the lefties, hits the longest home run of the season for the Red Sox. He continues to stay hot. We'll get into the outfield stuff in a minute. He's got a long hit streak now. If you go back to June 29th, 9 straight, .333, 2 homers, 9 RBIs, but hits the longest home run at Fenway Park and had 2 more hits, 2 RBIs. Playing lefts. The Red Sox had 11 hits, 3 guys with multi-hit games, and great to give that bullpen a night off. And they've won 5 in a row, which is good, regardless of who they're playing, right? We don't care who they're playing. All right, trade wins. I talked about this last night. I do a little thing on Twitch for Red Sox pregame. I won't tonight. By the way, tonight I'll be at Yarmouth Dennis for Cape League Baseball. I can't wait for that. I was talking about this because the Red Sox beat writers are privileged because Alex Cora, every MLB manager, talks before the game. And Alex Cora, which I thought was weird, I'm not criticizing him, he admitted that on Wednesday Yoshida would be active with DH and Roman Anthony would play left. I think maybe now that I have a chance to think about it, I think he admitted it because Anthony was out working the monster. So just to diffuse anything, he said it, but I'm still surprised. So we can do the math here, right? If Anthony's playing lefts Yoshida is DHing. Then who's out? And I will listen. I've gone back and forth on Duran, but I will tell you this, and I will sit at this stance. You cannot put him in center and Rafaela in right and think that's a good defense. Duran cannot play center. I know many of you will disagree with me. He can't. He is not a good outfielder. He is not. I watch a lot of his plays from the overhead camera. Last weekend in Washington, he took 3 steps in on that catch. He made a great catch, but he took 3 steps in. That's why he had to race back and reach up. And you cannot remove Rafaela because Duran will not make those plays. And last night, James Outman, who's not a good center fielder, screwed up a play, and Clayton Kershaw let him hear it, and that's what's going to happen. I just, defensively to me, that's a worse defense if you go Anthony, Duran, and Rafaela, if that's the plan. Rafaela should not ever move from center field. He's hitting. He is the best center fielder in baseball. That would make no sense. Now, I'm all for trading anybody if it works, right? So maybe it's Abreu that's out. And maybe Duran plays right. We'll see. He doesn't have a great arm, so I don't love that. I mean, really, Duran's place is left. Unless, hey, this will never happen. But he was a second baseman, coming up. But, I mean, that'd be nuts. I'm kidding. But we'll see. This is intriguing. Or is there a move? Maybe Abreu. And I'm all for that. And I like Duran. And I know it sounds like I'm picking on him, but I'm just talking about in the big leagues, you have to be able to do those little things, and he's just not a good defender. And you can lose games like that, but he's a really good dynamic offensive player. That's the thing. If you trade him, you're losing a really good, not just a good player. He's your prototypical leadoff hitter. You don't have one unless you think Roman Anthony can do it, but that's asking a lot. But the Red Sox have done that a lot this year. They have done things where you're like, ugh, and it's worked. So we'll see. He's the biggest buzz of all the national writers say that all the stuff they're hearing is around Duran. Some have, we'll get to some comments, some are not big fans of my Sandy Alcantara, which I get. We'll get into the comments. The team that we have to look out for is Arizona. They are now 5.5 out. That's the team we talked about weeks ago. If they're sellers, can you get Merrill Kelly, someone like that that's not going to cost you anything? The pitchers that – the reason I brought up Alcantara – let's get to the comments, right? Let's get right to the comments because we have a comment. But this is going to be interesting today with all the shuffling going on. So the comments from Tuesday. We'll start with at Mary Mancini 25. Mary related to Trey. Just kidding. Thank you, Mary, for watching. I would look for someone else other than Alcantara just because of the injuries, and he's not proven. Really, he's coming off. You mean he's not proven coming off Tommy John? He's proven. He's got 2 All-Stars games and a goal and a Cy Young. I'm not against doing it, but I want to do it for someone a little more proven. So here's the problem with that. I get that. I would like that too. Any of those guys you're talking about is going to cost you Roman Anthony. You're not getting a number 2 starter, even a number 3, without giving up a prospect because you don't have the leverage. And there's just too many teams that are going to be competing for that. And Alcantara, there could be a team that that gives them a top prospect. See, the Red Sox are not going to do that, but someone else might. He's been really good. He's got an ERA of under 3 in his last 4 or 5 starts. I'm looking for upside, and I'm looking for that 2 years of control and not giving up a lot. But I don't know. I see your point, and I see why people would be against it. I'm just looking for an upside arm who's still young that you don't have to give a lot. But a Merrill Kelly, that to me kind of like a rental in adding to that 5. So we'll see. I'm all for a rental like Merrill Kelly, but I'm not all for going because who are you going to get? You're not going to get a top arm in this game, like a number one. I still think a number two, number three is going to cost you a lot. So, Mary, thank you. Ad4 Entertainment -NN9GL. Patrick Sandoval, we're going to see him this year. I checked on this last week. He's down at Fort Myers. He's going through his rehab. He's throwing. They have games down there. The Florida Complex League is the old Gulf Coast League. And check the box scores for that. Like, if you Google Florida Gulf Coast League, they have box scores, and you'll see a lot of big league guys rehabbing. And I check that from time to time, but he's not pitched yet. So, yeah, I mean, that's another arm. At Joe Averso, 3258. I wanted to trade Abreu. Not that I didn't like him. I liked Duran better, and we needed to trade an outfielder. Yeah. It's interesting. It's like one guy has this, one guy has that. Do we know that Abreu will be the guy? We'll see. This is going to be an intriguing day because what I think is weird, and we'll go back to this before we wrap it up, that Cora announced the lineup, that who's sitting tonight. I have a feeling that it could be Abreu and Duran because it would be weird to sit Duran after what he's doing. Or there's another move. There could be a trade today. This could be the day. Doesn't have to be at the deadline. All right, thank you for watching. Before we go, nice long show today on this Wednesday. Comment, subscribe, like, please share. We love your comments. We'll read them. I'll respond to them. I told you this before. I don't care if they're off the rails. I'm off the rails. We're all off the rails, right? It's baseball. We have fun. We debate. It's all good. But happy Wednesday, everyone. We'll talk to you on Thursday, hopefully talking about another series sweep. But thank you for watching Red Sox Now, presented by Fan Arch here on YouTube.